The 3 words that will make her think about you all night. Psychology of attraction, modern stoic. The most powerful relationships are those where 3 souls connect without the need for words. Unknown. What if I told you that while most men are out there trying to impress, striving to prove themselves, or constantly seeking validation, there's a group of men, calm, centered, and entirely at ease, who don't need to chase. They know the secret. 3 simple words that linger in her mind long after the conversation ends. These words might seem ordinary at first glance, but when spoken with the right intention and energy, they echo in her heart like a whisper that simply won't fade. She may go about her day, engaged in conversations, handling her to-do list or talking with friends, yet in the back of her mind, you'll be there. Not because of what you wore or what you gave her, but because of the feeling you awakened inside her. Most men speak to a woman's ears, but these 3 words speak to her soul. This isn't about playing games or using tricks. This is about resonance. When you learn to connect with her on a deeper level, not just what she hears, but what she feels, you'll rise above the crowd. You'll leave the friend zone behind and enter the space in her thoughts where only a few men are allowed to live, rent-free. Here's the paradox. The more you try to stand out, the less you do. True presence doesn't demand attention. It doesn't shout. It simply is. And that is what she craves. She doesn't want a man who performs to capture her attention. She desires someone whose stillness offers her security, whose words carry substance, not fluff, whose moments are memorable, not fleeting. Now, I'm about to share with you the 3 words that accomplish exactly this. But before we dive into the words themselves, it's crucial to understand why they work. You need to understand the difference between a man who just talks and a man whose presence and words resonate with her on a deeper level. Words are not just sounds, they are portals. They either take her to the same old places or open a door to something far more exciting and alive. Here at Stoic Paradox, we explore the quiet power of masculine presence. This space isn't for the loud, the performers, or the chasers. It's for men who are tired of pretending, tired of performing. It's for men who are ready to show up with such authenticity, depth, and grounded energy that a woman is drawn to them without even knowing exactly why. She just feels it. So, if you're ready to learn the 3 words that won't just make her think about you, but make her feel something real, and if you're ready to become the kind of man whose presence leaves a lasting impression without trying, then stick with me. What you're about to learn isn't just about attraction. It's about unlocking a rare, powerful, and unforgettable version of yourself that every woman secretly hopes to meet, but almost never does. Let's begin. Word number 1. I remember. In the world of attraction, many men fall into the trap of trying too hard. They're constantly chasing attention, seeking to impress, and hoping that their actions will be enough to create a lasting impact. The irony here is striking. The more you try to be unforgettable, the less you truly are. Genuine presence, the kind that captures attention in a way that matters, doesn't shout. It doesn't demand admiration. It simply exists. And the 3 words that can truly make her think about you all night long are deceptively simple. I remember. These words on the surface might seem ordinary, nothing flashy, nothing grandiose. Yet, when spoken with sincerity and presence, they possess an undeniable power. They cut through the noise, bypassing the usual compliments and flashy gestures that fill a typical day. They resonate deeply within her. In a world filled with constant attempts to impress, whether through elaborate gifts, grand statements, or flashy acts, I remember stands apart. The magic behind these words isn't rooted in trying to be something you're not. Instead, it's in your ability to be truly present with her, fully attuned to her as an individual. It's not about performing for her attention, it's about connecting with her on a deeper, more meaningful level. When you say, I remember, it's not just a passing recollection of the past. It's an invitation to revisit a moment that you shared, an acknowledgement that, despite the passage of time or whatever else has occurred since then, that shared experience still holds value. It tells her that she made an impact on you, that she left a lasting mark in your memory. The power of I remember lies in its ability to speak to something more profound than just what's on the surface. Most men tend to focus on impressing a woman's ears. They want to say the right things, deliver clever lines, or make grand gestures. But when you say, I remember, you speak to her heart, to that quiet part of her that holds on to memories that might seem trivial to others, but are deeply significant to her. These moments could be small, like a conversation you shared while walking down the street, or a quiet gesture in the middle of a busy day. Yet to her, they hold a treasure trove of meaning. What happens next, though subtle, is incredibly powerful. She may go on with her day, handling responsibilities, chatting with friends, or ticking off items from her to-do list. But in the background of her mind, she's thinking of you, not because of your appearance, the gift you gave her, or some flashy stunt you pulled, but because of the connection you awakened in her with a simple, powerful phrase. I remember doesn't demand attention or validation. It doesn't perform or try to convince. It simply exists in its stillness, allowing you to make an impression that lingers far longer than any flashy gesture could. The reason I remember works so well is because it addresses a deeper need women often have in relationships: someone who is grounded, someone who doesn't need to constantly vie for their attention. Women don't want a man who is perpetually chasing after them, trying to gain their approval or validation. What they want is a man who is steady, someone whose words carry weight, whose presence alone is enough. I remember speaks to this desire for depth and stability. It's not about playing games or attempting to seduce. It's about creating a resonance, a quiet power that stays with her long after the conversation ends, quietly reinforcing the bond between the three of you. As the great poet William Blake once said, "The tree which moves some to tears of joy is in the eyes of others only a green thing that stands in the way." This truth encapsulates the impact of being present in a woman's life. By simply recalling a moment, a shared experience, you invite her to remember too. In doing so, you become unforgettable, not because of flashy displays or grand gestures, but because of the depth of connection you offered. So, when you find yourself in a moment of reflection, consider sharing with her, I remember, and see how it transforms your connection, turning a fleeting exchange into a lasting memory. In real life, this approach to attraction doesn't just apply to romantic relationships, but also to building meaningful connections in any sphere of life. Whether you're speaking with a friend, a colleague, or a partner, taking the time to remember the moments that matter to them will always resonate on a deeper level. It's a reminder that the most powerful gestures aren't always the loudest or most extravagant. They are often the quiet, meaningful ones that acknowledge the value of shared experiences. So, next time you're with her, try saying, I remember, and witness the subtle yet profound shift in your connection. Don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments. What moments do you remember most deeply? And how have they shaped your relationships? Comment, I remember, to keep it in mind. Word number 2. You're right. There's a rare and extraordinary power in the 3 simple words. You're right. At first glance, they may appear to be just another casual phrase, something tossed into conversation as a quick acknowledgement or a polite gesture. However, when spoken with intention, the right energy, and in the right moment, these words transcend their seemingly superficial meaning and take on a much deeper significance. Saying, you're right, isn't about surrendering or conceding defeat, nor is it about passively agreeing for the sake of avoiding conflict. It's about affirming her. It's about offering her validation, showing her that her voice, her thoughts, and her feelings truly matter to you. It's an invitation to emotional connection, one where she feels heard, seen, and understood in ways that go far beyond the surface-level exchanges many experience. In a world where so many men find themselves desperately fighting for validation, always trying to assert their opinions and prove their point, you're right offers a subtle yet powerful shift in dynamics. It shows her that you're not just focused on being right or winning an argument. Instead, you are prioritizing understanding her perspective and acknowledging that it holds value. In modern relationships, where time seems to be at a premium and genuine communication can often be drowned out by distractions and misunderstandings, saying, "You're right," can be the key to unlocking a deeper bond. It goes beyond simply hearing her words. It's about actively listening to her. It means that you're fully present in the conversation, not just waiting for your moment to speak, but truly absorbing what she's expressing, her thoughts, emotions, and experiences. And that's where the real power of these 3 words lies. It's not about agreeing with everything she says, nor is it about being passive or agreeing just to end an argument. Instead, it's about choosing to validate her when it's genuine. It's about recognizing the truth in her words and acknowledging it, not because you have to, but because you understand the importance of making her feel seen and understood. This kind of validation is something that's rare and precious in today's world. With so many people vying for attention, trying to assert their own perspectives, or simply being caught up in the noise of daily life, it's easy to overlook the emotional need to be truly heard. When you say "you're right," it doesn't mean that you're giving up your own thoughts or identity. It means you are confident enough to let her have hers. It creates a sense of emotional security, where she feels safe to share her thoughts and emotions without fear of judgment or dismissal. It's about making her feel like her perspective has weight in your world, and that, in itself, fosters trust and a sense of intimacy. The act of validation doesn't come from a place of weakness or compromise. Rather, it comes from a place of strength and emotional maturity. You're not bending to her will, but rather choosing to honor her truth. And in doing so, you create a space where emotional connection can flourish. The beauty of this approach is that it doesn't just deepen your relationship in that moment, it leaves a lasting impact on her, one that she'll remember long after the conversation is over. When you offer this kind of understanding and emotional support, you build a foundation of trust that makes it easier to navigate future conversations with openness and honesty. It creates an environment where both of you feel safe to express yourselves fully, without the fear of being misunderstood or minimized. And the effects can be profound. When you allow her to feel validated, truly seen and heard, it creates a bond that's unforgettable. These moments are rare. There's something special about a man who listens with this level of attentiveness and sincerity. And when you give her this gift, it stays with her. It's not about being right all the time. It's about recognizing when it's more important to simply understand her. And in that moment, your connection deepens in ways that are hard to put into words. In today's world, where so much of our communication is digital or rushed, taking the time to show someone they're truly heard is a rarity. The simple act of saying, "you're right," offers something more profound than we often give it credit for. It creates emotional space for connection to take root, allowing her to trust that you value her emotions and opinions. It's a small gesture, but one that can resonate for days, weeks, or even months, making her think about you long after the conversation has ended. And in the context of relationships, moments like these are what create the foundation for something long-lasting and meaningful. Word number 3. I love you. In the delicate dance of attraction, many men believe that expressing deep emotions too soon can push a woman away or make them seem overly eager. The fear of vulnerability can often prevent them from saying the words that could truly transform their connection. Yet there's a profound power in 3 simple words. I love you. When said at the right time, these words don't come off as needy or desperate. Instead, they create a moment of undeniable depth and sincerity. Saying I love you isn't about rushing or forcing a connection. It's about offering something that is pure, genuine, and meaningful. I love you doesn't need to be reserved for grand gestures or major milestones. It's about being vulnerable and letting her see a piece of your heart. The true magic of these words lies not in their frequency, but in the intent behind them. When spoken with sincerity, I love you has the ability to leave a lasting impact on her thoughts. These words aren't just an expression of affection, They're a recognition of the emotional bond that has formed between the three of you. They tell her that you see her for who she truly is, that she holds a unique and irreplaceable place in your life. In relationships, it's often the unspoken emotions, the quiet moments of connection, that speak louder than anything else. When you say, "I love you," it's not just about the words themselves, it's about what they represent. It's a commitment to her, to the shared experiences you've had, and to the future you might build together. Unlike fleeting compliments or shallow gestures, "I love you" offers a sense of permanence. It tells her that no matter what happens in the future, the feelings you have right now are real, and they matter. Saying "I love you" also communicates a sense of security and trust. It reassures her that she's cherished, not just in the good times, but in the quiet, everyday moments as well. It's an invitation to a deeper level of intimacy, one where she can let her guard down and be fully herself with you. These three words carry with them the weight of your emotions, letting her know that she's not just another passing interest, but someone you genuinely care about. Moreover, "I love you" isn't about creating pressure or expectation. It's not about demanding reciprocation or worrying whether she feels the same way at that very moment. Instead, it's about being vulnerable, offering a piece of your heart with no strings attached, and giving her the space to process those feelings. When you say "I love you," you're offering a gift, something deeply personal that she'll treasure, not because it's said frequently, but because it's said with authenticity. The power of "I love you" lies in its ability to make her think about you long after the words are spoken. It will echo in her mind, making her reflect on the depth of your connection and the trust you've built together. These words, when spoken at the right time, don't just vanish into the air, they linger, creating a lasting impression that stays with her. And ultimately, it's not about just saying the words. It's about making sure that your actions match them, reinforcing the depth of your commitment to her. So, when the time feels right, don't be afraid to say "I love you." Let it be a declaration of your emotions, a recognition of the bond you share, and an invitation for her to be a part of something deeper. Because when these words are said with intention, they have the power to make her think about you all night, wondering how she became so lucky to have someone who truly cares. The result: emotional echoes. The power of three simple words: "I remember," "You're right," and "I love you." Srenia goes beyond their cleverness. They resonate deeply because they emanate from a place of true presence. These words don't just land in the moment. They linger long after, leaving behind what I call emotional echoes. These subtle but lasting impressions stay with her, not because you performed in some calculated way, but because you were real. You created a moment that made her feel something genuine, something more than just words. You made her feel seen, truly understood, and that can be far more powerful than any scripted pickup line or rehearsed gesture. Remember, as the great philosopher Socrates once said, "The unexamined life is not worth living." When you're fully present with someone, you're engaging with their life, their thoughts, their emotions. You're showing up as your truest self, not as a mere character in a performance. Think about it. In a world full of distractions and superficial interactions, being present is rare. It's an act of slowing down, of truly engaging with the other person in the here and now. We often rush through conversations, not truly listening, but merely preparing for our turn to speak. But real connection doesn't come from that kind of exchange. It comes from slowing down, looking her in the eye, and listening not just to respond, but to understand. You need to be fully aware of her words, her emotions, and her energy. This is where authenticity begins to shine. As the great writer Maya Angelou once said, "People will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel." The impact you have on her is not from rehearsing perfect lines or pretending to be someone you're not. It's from your ability to truly be there, to make her feel heard and valued. So next time you find yourself in a conversation with her, let go of any need to impress or perform. Focus on being in the moment, and when the time is right, speak those three words: I remember, or you're right. Let your energy, groundedness, and authenticity speak for themselves. You'll see how powerful it is when you stop trying to be someone you're not, and instead show up as your real self. These 3 words won't just attract her attention, they will create a deeper connection that lasts far beyond the initial encounter. They will stay with her, and they will remain in her thoughts long after you've left the room, creating a bond that's more lasting than anything superficial. Real connections come from authenticity, so be present and let your true self shine through. What are your thoughts on this approach? Do you have any experiences where being genuinely present made a difference in your relationships? Share your thoughts in the comments. Remember this: in the realm of attraction, sometimes the simplest words carry the deepest weight. 3 phrases, so small yet powerful, can make a woman think about you all night long. I remember, you're right, and I love you. These are not just words. They are an acknowledgement of her presence and perspective, each conveying something profound about the connection you share. The first phrase, I remember, signals that you see her, that you hold her experiences and feelings in your mind. It's a powerful form of validation. The second, you're right, reinforces her importance to you, showing that you value her opinion and that her thoughts matter. These phrases, though seemingly simple, are backed by the subtle art of presence and intentionality. When spoken with sincerity, they create an emotional resonance that no slick pickup line could ever achieve. Now here's the challenge. Don't merely read this as some clever insight, make it a part of who you are. The next time you're in a conversation with her, slow things down. There's no need to rush for the perfect words. Instead, focus on being with her. Let go of the urgency to perform and simply be present. In a world where everyone is scrambling for attention, take the opportunity to stand still. Let your stillness be felt and allow the weight of your words to land softly but with purpose. When the moment feels right, say those 3 powerful phrases, I remember, I love you, and you're right. Then, let those words linger. Let them echo in the air between you both. Here's the truth. You don't need to shout to be heard. In fact, you don't have to chase after her attention at all. The secret lies in showing up with the kind of grounded, authentic presence that can't be faked. In a time when everyone is trying to stand out with grand gestures and loud declarations, it's the man who chooses to remain still, who holds his ground with quiet confidence, that becomes magnetic. She doesn't fall for the flashy noise that clutters the world around her. What truly captivates her is the resonance of your presence, the feeling that when you're with her, you're fully there, and that she matters deeply to you. So next time you find yourself in a conversation, remember, it's not about impressing her with the loudest words or the most charming lines. It's about making her feel seen, heard, and valued in a way that lingers long after the conversation is over. If this message resonated with you on a deeper level, take it as a sign. It's no coincidence you're here. You belong to a rare breed of men, the kind who seeks to lead not through outward performance, but through genuine presence. This isn't about flashy gestures or superficial displays. It's about grounding yourself in a way that commands respect and attention without uttering a word. It's about making an impact that's felt, not just seen. So, why not take the next step and join us? Subscribe to the blessing of Stoicism and immerse yourself in a space dedicated to your growth. This is your sanctuary for evolution, where the focus is on cultivating an inner strength that most men will never experience or understand. Here, we don't just talk about power, we embody it in its most authentic form. We explore the subtle art of mastering presence, tapping into that quiet, unshakable energy that makes others gravitate toward you. The world is full of noise, distractions, and pressures to conform to fleeting trends, but here, we unlearn all that. We strip away the unnecessary, the shallow, and instead cultivate an energy that does more than just attract. It transforms. In a world where attention spans are short and relationships often feel transactional, learning how to leave an impression that lingers in her mind long after you've parted ways is a rare and valuable skill. The psychological principle of attraction goes beyond looks or charm. It's rooted in confidence, emotional intelligence, and the ability to be present in the moment. So if you're ready to evolve into a man who doesn't need to try to stand out, but simply does, then now's the time to embrace the transformative power of Stoic presence. Let go of the noise and start leading with your true essence.